Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. This is Naaman with the Great Millstone Camp here in DC. Back for another video. First and foremost, call hello Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushua, Ba'Hashem, Rikah HaKodash, and of course, double honors go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, all right, who deserve double honors and rule well. I'd like to send out salutations to the fellow Akim that are out there on the highways and byways, all right, week in and week out, pushing the truth across the four corners of this earth, all right, aided of course by the many videos that are uploaded, all right, that are provided for those of you that want to take advantage and actually learn something, possibly through the aid of the Holy Spirit, learn what's going on, all right, and don't treat this as entertainment, which I know a lot of you do, but hey, you're going to have to answer for that. But this is what we're doing it for, to wake up the remaining, hopefully, elect of our people, all right, in the short amount of time that we have. And indeed, time is short. So in this video, what we're going to go into, for those of you that haven't heard, it looks like this Tory Lanez incident that happened, not an incident, it was a travesty of justice, actually, if this is to be believed, all right, and a lot of people had from the outset said, you know, something's wrong with this. Well, apparently, there's much evidence to back that up, along with the attempt to cross this man out permanently, because what was he doing? All right, he found a means to possibly help others, all right, and come up with providing generational wealth. And you know, certain folks can't have that. We know there's many examples, all right, when you want to do shit for yourself, especially our people, all right, especially in the music industry, which is about owning your own masters, things of that nature. Oh no, you gotta have one of them folks, all right, as your handler, so to speak, so they can drain you, all right, pimp you out. But apparently this young man was onto something. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. This is the Introvert Rockstar site. The DJ Vlad confession. There's been, and even I know this, and I'm not a fan or anything, he's been questionable conduct, and there's questions as to his past, and I believe his father, but that's something else. So again, Introvert Rockstar, let's go ahead and get into it. DJ Vlad just exposed Jay-Z again. Be careful who your so-called heroes are, especially these celebrities. A lot's being exposed with the Epstein files coming out, which I did a recent video on that. All right, and this guy evidently is in a lot of shit. All right, so in other words, he's owned. So here we go.
Not long ago, Unite the People was approached by a gentleman named Bradley James. Mr. James informed us he was working as the bodyguard and driver for Ms. Kelsey Harris during Mr. Peterson's trial. As such, he was in close proximity and he had privy to conversations she was having with her husband and others. Mr. James informed us he was not under a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement and was free to speak with Unite the People, and that he was doing it because his conscience would not let him not speak and leave a man in prison for something he did not do. Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was witness to the conversation Ms. Harris had, where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times, Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody, never even touched that gun, never fired the gun. This statement aligns with the statement of the only non-party witness to the case, Mr. Sean Kelly, who at trial testified he saw 2 women fighting Two men break up the fight. One man grabbed the other one's arm. Gunshots came from the passenger side. Passenger side is where Miss Harris was sitting. This further iterates that Mr. Peterson did not shoot Miss Peach, did not shoot at Miss Peach, or did not assault Miss Peach. It's just another irregularity in a list of irregularities in this case. For example, there were 3 potential suspects in the car that night, and yet the only DNA sample was taken of Mr. Peterson, even though unknown DNA was found on the gun. Why wasn't Miss Harris's DNA taken? Or was it taken and the information simply never given to the defense? Why wasn't the driver of the car, Mr. Jaquan Smith's DNA taken? Or was it taken and again, simply not given to the defense?
Hey, you already know what I say, make that make sense. And we gonna say everything allegedly because you know how these people like to play. But look, everybody, well, I ain't say everybody, a lot of people already knew Tory was innocent. But Jay-Z thought he was slick. He thought he can play both sides. He thought he can trust Caucasian people. And DJ Vlad showed him how his people really get down. Check this out. DJ Vlad said, I have a confession. Rock Nation had been paying me to support Megan. They also paid off all the jury members to convict Tory. They bribed the judge too. Jay-Z did a verse for his grandson's new album. They paid off Megan's doctor to lie about the bullet fragments. She was never shot. The LA police are all on Jay's payroll. The Mexican guy who stabbed Tory, who do you think paid him to do that? 3 Supreme Court judges who denied Tory's appeal, all paid off by the Rock Nation. Make that make sense. Every single week, Jay-Z gets exposed, and you still got people saying, oh man, he didn't do nothing. Every single week, bro. Every single week, they are saying something about this dude, and you saying he didn't do nothing? But check this out. The rabbit hole gets even deeper. Tory Lanez was set up because he cracked the code, and he showed other rappers how to make millions of dollars without the record labels, and they didn't like that. But we'll talk about that later on in this video. But right after the incident with Tory and Megan with the shooting and stuff, they called Rock Nation, called Tory, and they told him, do not talk about this incident, do not give a statement. Tory did that. Then TMZ, the next day, TMZ put the video out, and they framed Tory to make it seem like he was guilty. Go back and watch the video. They was kind of telling Megan, look, say that he shot you. They was like coaching her to tell her to say that. But TMZ, they been doing this, bro. Like, they good at it. This is what they do. Why you think they first with every breaking news? Because they already know what's gonna happen. They create the news. They've been, bro, that's why they first with everything. This the same TMZ in the picture with Epstein.
See that?
This the same Jay-Z that's on the Epstein list. Y'all put it together. But look, this the reason why I know that DJ Vlad isn't lying, because right after the case in 2022, right after the trial, bro, with Megan and Tory Lanez's father said this. Run a tape.
I just stood here in this Los Angeles County and witnessed the worst miscarriage of justice that this world has ever seen. You want to know how I feel? I'll tell you exactly how I feel. I got some names that I want to call. Alex Spiro, Desiree Perez, and the whole wicked system of Rock Nation, including you, Jay-Z.
Yes.
You who say you rose from the gutter, but you have traded and bartered the souls of young men, and you're still doing it.
Amen.
The only independent witness in this courtroom is a man whose name is Sean Kelly. He came to court, and our attorneys, he would not even shake their hand after he went upstairs with Kathy Tough and Alex Box.
They met on Saturday before. They met
with our witness, and then the man came back, and I sat in the hallway while he sat with Jody Little, the prosecutor's investigator, who acted so dumb, an intelligent woman who did not want, listen, I've seen so much evidence buried in this, and I know exactly what the public out here will say.
And you already know what I say. Make that make sense. And look, I'm gonna calm down a little bit. I'm gonna calm down a little bit. But I remember a few weeks ago when that Epstein list came out. Charlemagne, he threw us under the bus. Charlemagne the raccoon, he took up for Jay-Z. He said we always attacking our own people. He said we always attacking our black leaders. What you talking about, Willis? Jay-Z ain't no black leader of ours. He don't speak up for our people. He don't care about our people. He care about money, bro. That's it. He's part of the reason that Brooklyn was gentrified. And if you live in New York and you're from New York, if you know, you know. He don't care about black people. Like this dude threw us under the bus on the radio, bro. And these record labels, they don't care about us either, bro. They want to own your music. They want to own your whole soul. And if they can't own you, they gonna do whatever they can do to destroy you. I keep telling y'all, the game is cold. Tory Lanez cracked the code by treating music like content creation, prioritizing speed, volume, and content engagement. By owning his masters, releasing consistently, and even selling an album for $1, he proved that visibility, direct fan connection, and control can outperform traditional label systems while cutting out industry middleman. Make that make sense. Let me ask y'all.
And you have to understand, as the scriptures say, you know, the heart of this man is deep. All right. This is what he does. Let's get that real quick. You got to understand what white supremacy is all about: control. All right. Which is what he is losing. That's why they're freaking out now. Let's see. That's 60. Let's see. Oh, that's 4. All right. And we bring this out a lot, but it, what his father was just describing there, a witness that was supposed to be for them, they go into the courthouse and he goes over to the prosecution side, says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, Salaki, who whet their tongue, all right, or sharpen, all right, like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. All right. Don't know anything about Tory Lanez or whether he knows he's an Israelite or not. All right. But from everything that they're bringing out here, at least he was not guilty of this. All right, that's what we're talking about here. It says they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. All right, and what's that privily mean? Let's get that. All right, to hide. All right, by covering up. All right, in secret. And it wasn't even so much secret, but at least this part of it that he's describing. All right. And a lot of this, especially what they're doing now with this president that we have now, I mean, they're just open. They're not covert, about anything now. All right. They're just telling you. And we knew all along that it was going to eventually come to this. All right. Because his things that they used to do in the secret, all right, they've been exposed. This is, especially 2026 here, this is the year of that. All right. All that, that's let's get that in the scriptures, because that's what we do here. We back things up with the scriptures. This is Luke 12:2. All right, and it says, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. How many videos I have done of Jake being innocent that served 20, 30, 40 or more years in prison, and then come to find out they were innocent all along. Yeah, that's the system. All right, let's get another one. Luke 8:17. For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. This self-professed white man, these Edomites, the nation of Edom, all right, they are the tool of the Most High. You know, his whipping stick, especially against us. All right, this is Psalm 17 and 13. It says, "Arise, O Most High, and whose name is Yahweh. Disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword." All right, this is who we're dealing with here. All right, continuing on.
Or something. Do you think these labels want black people, black artists to learn about generational wealth? No. They need you dependent on their system. They need every artist dependent on their system, especially black artists. And I want y'all to take a wild guess in my comment section. Tell me who owns all the major record labels. Don't worry, I got time. I'll wait. I got time.
Them folks, the JOOs. Look at that. And one.
Jay-Z don't care about our people, bro. He sold out a
Moabite.
long time ago, bro, because he want to fit into this Caucasian system, bro. He don't care about our people. He don't care about no artists, bro. So if they can't control you, they go do whatever they can do to ruin you, and that's what they did to Tory. It is what it is. And look, before anybody get my
And there's a long line, or list rather. Look at Sam Cooke. What happened to him? He was trying to do the same thing. I think he was one of the first, all right, to try to get control. And then Ray Charles. Because especially back then, there were a lot of Jake artists that got ripped off. I mean, the story of Mary Wells is sad. Bo Diddley. And there's a whole host of others, you know. Hell, even the Righteous Brothers. You know, that for the movie Ghost, I remember, they had to redo that because they had lost the original rights to, well, I should say the rights to the original. So they didn't, you know, just to put that out there. But, you know, we're talking about, hey, you don't know, especially one of them, if they're Jake or not. But in any case, the blonde-headed one. Anyway, I can't remember his name. But anyway, yeah, this is what we're dealing with. You know, we are still in this day in our captivity, as it says in Baruch. All right. But again, there's that light at the end of the tunnel. All right, and we see it. We're out there on the highways and byways trying to tell our people, but we realize it's going to be far and few and far in between that are going to get it. Hence, that remnant, the elect. All right, that we, as we always say here, hopefully we're a part of. All right.
comment section and say, "Oh, he condone violence against women." No, I don't. I don't condone violence against women. I don't condone violence against our women. I hate that shit. But I also don't condone violence and lies against black men. I don't like it because it's been going on. It's been going on far too long, bro. All throughout history. Go do your research, bro. A lot of stuff happened because everybody is always lying on black men, bro. Go do your research. Look at Michael Jackson, bro. It just came out that Michael Jackson was protecting those kids from Epstein. That's why he created Neverland, bro. So these people made documentaries
There
on
you go.
Lifetime about Michael Jackson, messing up his name, bro. And you had black people believing this stuff, bro. You had black people believing this stuff, bro. Calling Michael Jackson all type of stuff. The whole time he was protecting those kids. Go do your research. He was protecting those kids from Epstein, bro. And also, they did what they did to him because he exposed the whole system. At one time, he owned 50% of Sony, and he
Which I always believed was right up there with their motivation for trying to get rid of this guy because he owned the Beatles. Their what do you call it? Something to do, was it their catalog? He owned that. That had to piss him off. Come on, the Beatles. Come on now.
he called them out. And look what they did to him, bro. And I can go on and on. It's so many black artists, bro. Soon as they spoke their mind, or as soon as they was fighting for the money they was owed, Angie Stone, look what happened to them. They framed them. So look at the games they play with our people, bro. But what I do like is the tables are finally turning, and I love that shit. Tory Lanez was stabbed 14 times, bro. In prison, he was stabbed 14 times. Someone put a hit out on him so they can end all this stuff, bro. Because they didn't want this information to keep coming out because it makes them look bad, bro. So
Of
someone
course, who did they
paid a
use?
Mexican to stab him 14 times. Imagine being innocent and you just fighting for your life, but these people, they got money and connections. They can do whatever they want to do to you, bro. They can make you look bad in the media, bro. How many times they made black men look bad in the media when it comes to entertainment, bro? First they clapping for you, then they doing you dirty. Michael Vick. Like they just said, they treated Michael Vick so bad, but they not talking about this Epstein stuff. They act like Michael Vick was unaliving people, fighting dogs, bro. They had the interview in a jail cell in the prime of his career, bro. In the prime of his career. Look what they did to Muhammad Ali. I can go on and on. Tory Lanez owned his masters, bro. And he cracked the code. He cracked the code, bro. And he made like $1 million in like 30 seconds, bro. I think it's like 30 seconds or maybe like a minute. They can't have that information coming out. They need these artists to sign to these record labels, bro. They want you to sign your soul away and they go steal from you, bro. Look at Angie Stone. Right before she got murdered, bro, I'm going to say she got murdered, bro. She was fighting for the money they owed her, bro. And she just went out and everybody just moved on with life like that didn't happen. So I'm glad they're not moving on with the Tory Lanez situation. I'm glad they doing what they doing, bro. I'm glad they're doing what they're doing, bro, because a lot of times, a lot of people, they get away with just doing things to black men moving on with life. Like I told you, these record labels don't want these rappers to know about generational wealth. They want them signing their soul, bro. Clive Davis, all these people, they need your soul to keep moving. Meanwhile, they calling you lazy. While they calling you lazy, they making money off of your efforts, bro. They making money off of your work and they just sitting back laughing. Don't know nothing about the black community. Don't know nothing about rap. Nothing. Don't have no type of talent, but they making money. Tory Lanez did R&B. They don't know nothing about singing. But just because Tory Lanez owned his masters, bro, they wanted that. And he was young, they wanted that. And they found a way to get it. Do your research on Sam Cooke, bro. Anytime a black artist, especially when they're young, they own their masters and they making great music. Tory was making great music, bro. He had the fans, he had the attention, he had the connections. They had to end that because he wasn't playing by their rules. See, everybody else want to play by their rules. I see the dude, Lil Russell, he signed to Jay-Z. He talking about Lil Wayne made toxic rap. He said Lil Wayne was toxic. Of course, he made some toxic music, but Lil Wayne also made positive music. But you just signed to Jay-Z, dog. You just signed to a dude that's on the Epstein list. You just signed to a dude that has all these accusations on him. All these stains on his name. Like, what are you talking about, bro? I think he was paid to say that, but it is what it is, bro. Like I say, I'm glad they not letting this go, bro, because to get 10 years for something you didn't do, with no fingerprints on the bullet or on the gun, nothing, bro, and you got 10 years, bro, the game is cold. That's why I say in 2026, man, to my people who do art, you sing, you rap, you don't have to sign to these record labels and big business. You don't have to do that, man. You can go your own way. You can make your money your own way. Get 100%. You might get it slow. You might have to do a lot more work, but you will feel good that you're free. You gonna feel good that you don't have to ask, can I put this out? You gonna feel good. And that's
But that's the thing with Jake, especially now, because they want it instant, you know. But he mentioned something about they want your soul and this place coming to an end. It even tells you that in Revelation 18 chapter. Let me get it real quick. That the other nations, they're going to be, you know, sad to see America go, because a lot of them, of course, a lot of it off our backs. Let me see, where is that, where it talks about all the goods. Let's see, there it is. I think I'll start, let's see, yeah, and cry when they saw, let's see, mm-hmm. Go further up, let's see. I'll end up reading the whole chapter just about. Let's see. There it is. That's verse 11. That's 13. Excuse me. Well, let's start up. I started at 11. This is Revelation chapter 18, verse 11. It says, "And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise any more." This is America. "The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all fine wood and all manner of vessels of ivory and all manner of vessels of most precious wood and of brass and iron and marble." Let's go to the Slocky. Alright. Verse 13, "And cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beast and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men." Alright. People come from afar and they get set up. You know, but as we're trying to tell our people, it's no mystery to that. That's you know, we're under the curses. All right, that's Deuteronomy 28 and 43 about the stranger getting up high over us and we being brought low. Then the next verse about them not lending, they're lending to us, and well, let me get it before I butcher it. They'll be the head and we'll be the tail. You know, and of course they're aided by our chief enemy here. These Edomites, these self-professed white people. Here it is, 43. It says, "The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail." All right. The curses, but we're seeing them being transferred to them per Deuteronomy 30 and 7. All right. We're witnessing this. These people are miserable, as it says in Baruch. Miserable are they. All right. Paraphrasing for what they've done to us. All right. Baruch, I believe that's 4 and around 20. Hold on. Let's see. I started 21. All right, because our people, continually being beat down, and they take advantage of us whenever they can. And again, as I said earlier, the whole thing was to keep us from establishing generational wealth. This is Baruch 4:21 says, "Be of good cheer, O my children. Cry unto the Most High, and he will deliver you from the power and hand of the enemies." 22, "For my hope is in the everlasting, that he will save you, and joy is coming unto me from the Holy One, because of the mercy which shall soon come unto you from the everlasting, our Savior." 21, "For I send you out with mourning and weeping, but the Most High will give you to me again with joy and gladness forever. Like as now the neighbors of Zion have seen your captivity, so shall they see shortly your salvation from our God, which shall come upon you with great glory and brightness of the everlasting." 25, "My children, suffer patiently the wrath that is come upon you from the Most High. For thine enemy hath persecuted thee, but shortly thou shalt see his destruction, and shalt tread upon his neck. My delicate ones have gone rough ways, and were taken away as a flock caught the enemy. Be of good comfort, O my children, and cry unto the Most High, for ye shall be remembered of him that brought these things upon you. For as it was your mind to go astray from the Most High, so being returned, seek him 10 times more." Again, this is what we're out here trying to tell our people. It's the time to repent. All right, because it's only going to get worse from here on out. All right, I may have, no, let's see. I'm going to skip down. It says, the 30, "Take a good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that gave thee that name will comfort thee." And here's my point. 31 says, "Miserable are they that afflicted thee, and rejoiced at thy fall." You're seeing them suffering now. All right. It doesn't, they don't act like they like how it feels, but it was okay when it was us, right? 32, "Miserable are the cities which thy children served. Miserable is she that received thy sons. For as she rejoiced at thy ruin, and was glad at thy fall, so shall she be grieved for her own desolation." All right. Going into Lamentations 2nd chapter, verses 15 and 16, right? They were happy to see when we fell. All right. 34, "For I will take away the rejoicing of her great multitude, and her pride shall be turned into mourning." How about that? Her pride should be turned into mourning.
That's the only reason why Tory is being punished, because he didn't bow down to the system. Man, free Tory. I'm out.
So there you
We
go.
made a bet.
There you go. All right. So that's going to be it for this. I like to, again, hey, I hope whoever views this has been edified. This is what we do here at Great Millstone, in filtering everything, all right, through the scriptures. All right. For the present, for the past, present, and what's to come. These prophecies, they must be fulfilled and will be. Again, as I do at the end of my videos, I'd like to encourage you to remain circumspect. Keep your eyes and ears open, people. All right. So with that, until the next video, Shalom.